is, I'm gonna fuck up this name, I apologize. Please make it loud for Salam.
Semaan.
Salam.
Semaan.
Saman.
Semaan.
Come on.
Salam, semaan.
I know that's confusing.
nailed the
Then you were
first thing.
correcting me. I nailed the first part. Salam.
Semaan. Yeah.
Boom.
Yay.
Oh shit, sorry about that.
Well, you know what they say, like 6 times the charm, right? So, anyway, I've been trying to date recently, but it's kind of difficult. I've tried, Tinder and all this stuff, and the thing is, I get matches, but no one ever responds to my messages, you know? And I ask my girlfriends, like, oh, how come, you know? And they say, you can't just say hello. You gotta say, real gentlemanly things. So now I just say all the classics, like, hey, does this rag smell like chloroform to you? Or would you like some Bill Cosby apple juice? Or my personal favorite, let's not turn this rape into a murder. You know what I'm saying? Just classic, right? I used to have a Filipino girlfriend, right? And every time I pull my dick out, she'd always get excited. And not because we were gonna have sex, but because dicks kind of look like microphones, and everyone knows Filipinos love karaoke. I'm sorry. Filipinos love karaoke, you know? I had to break up with her though, because every time I used to pull it out, she'd always grab it, tap it twice, and say mic check. And that would just really kill the mood, you know? So, thanks guys. So, I've been living in Claremont Mesa. Well, I've been working in Claremont Mesa now for about 1.5 years, and there are a lot of Asians that live here. And after watching them drive for 1.5 years, I've come to the conclusion that, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that Pearl Harbor was an accident. Yeah. See what happened? Let me explain. I'll explain. See what happened was a bunch of Japanese guys decided that they were gonna take a vacation down to Mexico, right? But about halfway through, they realized that they were actually going the wrong way, and instead of just gradually moving over, they decided they were gonna cut over 4 lanes and slam on their brakes. You know what I mean? But instead of hitting the brakes, they ended up actually hitting the gas and slammed right into Hawaii, you know? It could have happened to anybody that's Asian, you know? So, thank you. Yeah. I actually like making a lot of jokes with Asians because I know they're funny, and the way I know this is that they name their kids shit that they can't pronounce. Now, why would you do that if you weren't hilarious, you know? It's the same reason why I don't like making fun of black people, because they name their kids shit that they can't afford. Yeah, like Alexis or Gucci, or my personal favorite, Rent. I'm sorry, but that was good. Alright, so it's, speaking of Asians, I don't know why, but when I was younger, I used to like to watch a lot of Korean soap operas. I think it's because I'm kind of a romantic, as we could tell with the earlier jokes. And the thing is, they can make a romantic comedy out of anything. I was watching one the other day where this guy goes to the store to go get some ramen, and it was like 16 seasons, and like halfway through, he ended up meeting up with some girl, they ended up falling in love, you know, he was rich, she was poor, she changed his whole life, she ends up getting cancer. I'm like, holy shit, really? And then, you know, eventually she dies, and he goes and buys the ramen, and he comes back, and I think the show was called Ching Chong Ding Dong Ramen, which apparently translates to my extra salty ramen. I mean, I could be wrong about that. I got a bone up on my Korean, but I think that's what it means. So, you know, speaking of romantic comedies, I want to tell you guys the romantic coming-of-age tale of the first time that I ever finger blasted a chick. No, here's what happened. I was about 15 or 16, right? And I was making out with my first serious girlfriend. And about halfway through, I decided that I should try to finger bang her. And, to do her a solid. So, the thing is, I got my sex ed in the United States. So, not only do I not know how to spell a vagina, I don't know where one is. So, what ended up happening was, I stuck my hand in her pants, and I just started rubbing. And about halfway through, she was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I said, "I don't know." And then she ended up letting me bang her that night, though, so now I get a boner anytime I rub a chick's stomach. It's fucking weird, It is. It's true, But everybody's got a fetish. And I know, you're thinking, not everybody, Salam. What about that really conservative girl that I work with that wears glasses, She probably doesn't. And let me tell you, that girl is a freak. She likes to get fucked in the butt while someone finger blasts her from the front. And if you don't believe me, just watch Ali Wong. She'll tell you. She'll tell you straight up, My personal favorite is Japanese rape porn, like the bus scenes. I think it's because I grew up watching wrestling. You know what I mean? Yeah, because the shit's fake, right? But they're putting on a show, so you might as well enjoy it, I know you're thinking, the Japanese are very polite, but let's get one thing straight. This is the same culture where if you were eating a bag of chips on a bus, they would call the cops on you. You think they're gonna let fucking rape go down because Hitomi-san kept the decibel level low? No, it's bullshit, it's fake. So, I wanna, for a second, I wanna step away and talk about a serious issue for a minute here. I don't know if you guys have heard, but they have these Mexican girls that try to come up across the border, and the border patrol will end up catching them, then they'll end up banging them and putting it up on the video, up on the internet, and they charge $30 a month to watch that shit, and an Arab guy can barely masturbate, you know what I mean? I try, and I just think, I'm pretty sure I can get the discount somewhere else, this is way too expensive, I'm telling you, It kind of reminds me of a joke I heard earlier this week about a black Jewish kid. There's a black Jewish kid, and he's talking to his dad, right? And he tells his dad, "Dad, am I more black or am I more Jewish?" Right? And his dad says, "Why do you ask?" And the son goes, "Well, because there's a kid on the street that's saying that he wants to sell his bike for $145, and I don't know if I want to talk him down to $75 or just steal it." Yeah. But see, here's the thing though, the kid's dad was still in his life, so clearly he's more Jewish, alright? Thank you guys for your time.